virtual machine as opposed to one of the hosts, you'll see that the maps icon actually shows me a little bit of different information here about what this virtual machine is connecting to. Now, this map is not necessarily a map of logical resources that this virtual machine is connecting to. It's that plus more information about the different vMotion capabilities for this virtual machine. Now you'll see VM1 here is currently on esx2.company.pri because I've got this nice blue linkage here. And I've got the VMware Data Recovery Appliance. If I take a look at its map, it's over here connecting to something else, esx1.company.pri. So these provide a nice capability for you to identify where your hosts are as well as where they could potentially be when you're looking at all the different virtual machines and all the different hosts in your environment. This just gives you, again, just like with the other maps, a greater ability for you to identify what the interconnections are between the different hosts and virtual machines you have. Now, DRS can, as I said many times before, be somewhat complicated in identifying, well, how exactly is it going about its load balancing? And there is one fairly advanced topic down here that relates to DRS down here at the bottom. DRS, as I said before, is a mechanism for load balancing different virtual machines across the hosts that you have. And it uses a fairly complex mathematical model for identifying how the different virtual machines should get balanced among the hosts that you have. If you're familiar with any of your basic statistics, it makes use of a mean and also a standard deviation from that mean to identify what is an acceptable amount of imbalance for the cluster. What DRS effectively does is every 300 seconds or so, not every 5 minutes or so, it runs a pass on the cluster to identify what the mean use is of resources and then also what the standard deviation is of those resources. And if the target host load standard deviation is less than the current host load standard deviation, well then we've got a problem. What we want to have, as you can see here, is that a current host load standard deviation is actually less than what our target is. And we get the nice green checkbox here that identifies whether or not we're load balanced or not. You can get a little bit more information here about how those resources are being distributed by clicking the View Resource Distribution chart. This gives me a view of, well, okay, here's CPU by percentage of the different hosts that are in this environment. I can take a look at memory here and how much memory is being consumed on a host-by-host basis. This is what DRS is actually using to calculate what the host load standard deviation is. Now, these are some complex names. And admittedly, these I've never really liked these names because I think they make things more complex than what they need to be.